We just went on holiday. We were on the plane that was just about to take off last Saturday, and it just suddenly, the pilot came on and said, "No, sorry guys, you're not going anywhere." So we went back to our hotel, which was opposite the Fairmont, and we were sitting having a very British cup of tea, and the shell went over and landed and shook everything, and we had to spend the rest of the night in the basement of the hotel. We just went on holiday. We were on the plane that was just about to take off last Saturday, and it just suddenly, the pilot came on and said, "No, sorry guys, you're not going anywhere." So we went back to our hotel, which was opposite the Fairmont, and we were sitting having a very British cup of tea, and the shell went over and landed and shook everything, and we had to spend the rest of the night in the basement of the hotel. And then we took the decision, because no one knew what to do, we took the decision to go over to Nikki Beach, because it was low rise. We wanted to get out of the city because it was so scary, because we could see all the shells. And everything's been we could hear the booms in the background, and then 2 nights ago when they dropped something on the US Embassy, we saw that one, and it was terrifying. It was like this massive bang, and everyone ran. And I just feel lucky because it's just me and my husband and our 2 friends, Romina and Danny, who actually got out yesterday. But there's so many people with kids, so many people with babies, and I mean, my kids are grown up, so I'm all right. I don't, but the thought of being somewhere like that with a baby was terrifying. I feel really sad for them, and the families that were left last night by the government flight. It's all babies and children. I think it was the unknown, really, because we were, it's a generation of the internet. My kids, my son, the tall one there, he's 19. He lives his life on the internet and on Insta and whatever. And he was seeing such awful things, and then we kept hearing that people were saying there's something big's going to happen, and obviously. I'm not going to even talk about politics, but we know why. We all feel that we know why it's happened. So we didn't know what was going to happen next. The basement, we were sort of making jokes, just trying to keep each other all happy. But there were people literally sobbing and shaking and really, really upset. When we were just sitting there, and all of a sudden we heard this massive whoosh, and then this massive explosion, and the hotel that we're staying in, as of most hotels in Dubai, was full of glass, so it just all rattled. And then we all sort of looked around, and then somebody just said, "Run!" So we ran. And at first, well, it was ridiculous. I said to somebody, "We need to get to the basement," but they said, "No, we're going to take you up." So at first they took us into these conference rooms because they didn't have any windows, and I think that was their concern. They wanted to get us away from windows. So we went up into these conference rooms, and they were like little pods. So the 4 of us were in a conference room on our own, which felt horrible because you're thinking, well, the world's ending outside and we don't know. So, and then eventually they came and said, "We're moving you downstairs." And I said, "Well, yeah, it makes sense. You go down, don't go up." So we went downstairs under the basement, and that's where we stayed for about 10 hours.
We got home. Everyone clapped when the plane landed. We all cheered. It was just unreal. Yeah, magical. We only got very short notice. We had to grab our bags and then go. So it's just, I don't know what to say.
Are you happy to see your sister?
I didn't expect her, because I told her I was getting a lift home in the next minute. Dublin is the most beautiful city in the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We were relieved to be back.
We were supposed to be home on Saturday. Got cancelled, and then it's been a really long 5 days. Believe it or not. Stuck in a hotel room, basements. And then we sat at the airport since 3:30 this morning.
Yeah, we got there at 3:30, and then just begged everybody to let us through bit by bit. And then they were saying there was no flights available at all. Everything was fully booked, but you went on a waiting list, and then last minute got a flight.
know, it's vast cities, each city. Where we were in the marina, there was plenty of activity, a lot of interceptions, and
Saturday night was
really hairy. Yeah.
Proper
When you were out having a pizza.
We were having a pizza sat out by the pool, and the bangs that were going, which we later found out were intercepted stuff, but we didn't know that at the time. And you can see it all in the sky, all like
it looked like fireworks.
Yeah, but then we saw smoke coming from what was the Fairmont Hotel, which we didn't know that at the time. We just saw smoke coming out, and we thought it was getting like bombed. We just didn't know. So, and there's no communication. From UAE have been really good, but like Emirates in terms of getting us out.
A lot of noises that you were not used to, and a national alarm in the middle of the night that woke us all up on our mobile phones. So it was very frightening.
And what was that experience like, the uncertainty and not knowing when that alarm was going to go off again?
Well, you just didn't know, and getting information about when you might be able to fly home was just nigh impossible. I have to say the airlines were great, but they were inundated. So I think everybody on the flight coming in tonight is really delighted, and I just hope that everybody else gets home quickly, because it's a very uncertain situation.
I was thrilled. I was actually in the airport on Saturday when everything shut down, so it was just the most stressful and really scary situation. And this is like my fourth flight that I've rebooked, and I just didn't really think I was going to get out. I mean, you were really seeing and hearing bangs and explosions. Like last night in particular, it was just jet after jet after jet going overhead, and then we heard the US consulate was hit, so like that really just scared us. His mom, I'm from Donegal, she's come from Donegal. I didn't expect to see her at all. That's why I'm kind of overwhelmed. I also live in Dublin, so I wasn't expecting to see her. So I think Saturday in the airport was just, nobody knew what was going on. Like, you literally were there at your gate, and we were only an hour before we were going to get on the flight, and we didn't even know what had happened, and all of a sudden everything was just cancelled, and you just, like, it was chaos. But in fairness to the UAE, it was organised chaos, if I could say that. Like, they literally had everything thought of, and they really supported us, and all the accommodation was covered. We were in a lovely hotel, so they really looked after us.
I was actually in the airport when the explosion happened on Saturday night, so we got evacuated from there, so that was pretty tough.
That must have been really frightening.
It was, yeah. Still rattling from it a bit, but after that, I never felt kind of unsafe after that.
And it was very stressful, and there were a lot of bombs and attacks, and I'm very grateful that we're here.
We are flying back tomorrow to Frankfurt, so from Germany. So we go to the airport and try to catch a flight yesterday, and we had luck.
Yeah, so we were flying back from a 3-week Australia trip into Dubai. We were there for a layover for an hour and a half, and that's when everything grounded. It took us 7 hours to get out the airport, and then that was the bad night. All the alarms went off, so we had to go down to the hotel lobby where everyone gathered. It was a very frightening experience, but we're really glad to be home now.
So there was explosions, I had missiles, explosions as in it sounded a little bit like bombs going off, but it was just mainly that, missiles and loud bangs. Yeah, I got 2 warnings on my phone. I got one, initially it was about 12 a.m. or later around 1 a.m. It was in Arabic and English. Obviously the Arabic I couldn't read. It just said, take shelter in your wardrobe, there's a missile threat, and just stay away from any windows and doors. And then I got another one 20 minutes later. I think it was saying the same thing, but it didn't have the English, so I didn't know exactly what it said.
I find it at all terrifying. I thought it was a bit of an adventure, and the general vibe there was keep calm and carry on, business as usual, and we were very well looked after. I've never been to Dubai before, never really fancied going to Dubai, and it's changed my mind about it. It was just they were all excellent. They looked after us so well. It's tricky getting out, but I would definitely say the news is overplaying what's happening, or at least their defence system is very good otherwise, and they are not we're not noticing anything.
Really difficult. So I was a transfer passenger, so I was supposed to be going on to Frankfurt on the 28th. And then we passed through, I was coming in from Malaysia. We passed through, we actually saw the missile trails. But we didn't know what it was. So we thought like, oh, it's just planes, right? And that was really shocking when we actually landed and we found out that everything happened. And so then it was a bit of chaos. Emirates did the best they could. I mean, they had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that were just stuck. And so then they basically went from that and they tried to move everybody out. I moved as quickly as possible out of the terminal building, which was good because about an hour later I got hit. And then afterwards I found a hotel which was away from everything. People were really, really nice. And then this long wait of days where you kept hearing thump, 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 anti-aircraft and all that stuff, anti-missile stuff. And that was a little bit nerve-wracking. They definitely had a lot of drones coming over. I was not far from the beach, so I was in a good location. But then the frustration of getting the flights canceled, that was really difficult. And then the stress. And I know that people that are over there right now are feeling that because I haven't checked the news yet. So I'm pretty sure that it hasn't stopped. So, and this morning I just went directly to the airport, even though I had a flight canceled. And thankfully there was a flight going to Dublin. And so I'm very happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
Are you going on somewhere?
Oh God, yes. Tomorrow morning I've got a flight back to Frankfurt and back home. So.
What's back home?
Wife, kids. So.
Oh, you live in Frankfurt?
I live in Frankfurt. Yes. So I'm French and American, and I live in Frankfurt. Really, really huge.
Yeah. Did you think you were going to be stuck in Dubai?
Actually.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh. Did you think you were going to be trapped in Dubai longer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people still there, and everybody wants to try to get out. And I feel very, very bad for all the people that are there. Because I'm just one guy, right? And there's lots of people that have the same problem, and families, and so on and so forth. And it is, I wouldn't say it's a full-blown war zone, not like something like in Gaza, or something like this, but it's getting close, huh? It's really getting close. And so either the situation has to stop or, something has to go forward. Right? So I was lucky I was able to get, there were some people that, when we were invited to come to this flight, there were a couple of other people that were with me. I was able to get them also on board the flight. And so, and Emirates was very, very, respectful. They tried to do everything possible, even though there's like tons and tons of people waiting.